Yeah, I mean, I think it is a good thing to be bringing the deficit down, and partly I think that is because over time, you know, I don't think they had them in the budget documents, but certainly the Institute for Fiscal Studies had it in its green budget about the consequences of not taking any action. You know, the deficit stays where it was, 11% of GDP. Your government debt goes up quite sharply. That has a direct effect on debt interest, which rises. But also, in the long term, you're in dangerous territory. I mean, the most obvious example of that is Japan, which has public sector debt of 240% of GDP, and there is a danger that you get onto a trajectory which is unstable. You don't take any action. There's never an appropriate time to reduce the deficit, and you're then in dangerous territory because what happens is, apart from the things we know about, like the demographic factors which will push up public spending in the long term, you're bound to get. We won't get another of these sort of 66 quarters of non-stop growth. At some stage, you'll get another recession, which pushes up the deficit, and then you have to bring it down again. So you don't want to enter the next period of when the deficit is pushed up with a very large budget deficit. If you go into the next recession with a budget deficit of 11% of GDP, then it gets up to 15%, and then you're trying to respond to that, and there's never a right time. So I think it is important to take action. And on your second point, with a fair wind, it can happen. I mean, if growth lasts, and I think it will last for a while, notwithstanding the threat from international factors and the general election, then these things can turn around quite quickly. I mean, and the example I would give is the 1990s, where we went from a budget deficit of 8% of GDP to a surplus over the course of 5 or 6 years. So going from a bigger budget deficit, 11% of GDP, to a surplus over the course of slightly longer than that, almost 10 years, is not unreasonable. But politics could intervene. It may not be this government which is implementing the policies beyond 2015, but it can happen. It is possible for it to happen.